Welcome, everybody, to PinstripeChronicles podcast, your best source for the most entertaining take on the Yankees. I am Tats. I am here with Rob and Donald. And
is this episode 202?
Yeah, 202.
Happy 202, Rob. Tats.
Yep.
Happy 202.
Happy 202 to our very, very loyal listeners and viewers. Okay.
Yep.
Just wanted to say that.
Yep.
Start positive.
Well, speaking, that really is the premise of even after yesterday, there is still a very positive outlook on the way the direction this team keeps moving forward in. It was the offense was there, the pitching just couldn't keep it locked down. It was almost like we were after when we were up 8-3, and then that disappeared. We still won the series. We're still on a very good run. The division is still, I don't want to use the term running away with it because there's still so much time left in the year. But we've maintained to keep a solid cushion in the division where if we don't sweep every AL East matchup, it's not hurting us.
Here's the trajectory.
Yeah.
Right up there. That's our trajectory. Nothing to worry about.
So the way that this is do you really put that much is it fair to put blame on the pitching yesterday for putting a sour taste in everybody's mouth and the series with Toronto?
I guess they're the only ones to blame, right? Because Castro was bad. Peralta was bad. The only one who pitched well was Marinaccio, and even Sevy was kind of like iffy, but it was a lot of people blame Boone for keeping him in there for that inning, but the bullpen was kind of taxed from the day before. They weren't using King or Holmes, so they were hoping that Sevy can get them one more inning. Then they would probably go Castro, Peralta to try to finish it, but that's, sometimes it just works out that way. Castro should not be throwing a meatball down the middle of the plate to a power hitter with the bases loaded. But even with that was like a kind of a draining inning where they took the lead after making it a one-run game. We still were right there at the end. So the fight is still there from this team. So again, just like the last series where it seemed like Toronto was just so thrilled to get one. Once again, they celebrated like they had just won something big.
I'm glad you brought that up. My God.
That was Donald's point last time. Like, that's why it was kind of a victory, even though they had this huge comeback win. It's like, we got one. And yeah, it's upsetting that we lost. But we said last week going into this 9-game stretch before Houston, if they come away with 6 wins, that's a success. And they need one more to do that. Now, I don't want them losing the series to Tampa. So if they come away 7-2 out of these 9 games, we're like, who cares about one loss to Toronto? We just got to hope it doesn't derail the bullpen because Castro has been really bad lately. I'm not worried about Peralta, but on a normal night, let's say if it was October, we wouldn't see Castro in that situation anyway. So there's not really too much to worry about. I think it's just one of those bumps in the road. Pitching's been so dominant that it was bound to happen. They haven't had a loss like this all year, and we're in end of June basically. So it was bound to happen. It just sucks that it was against those damn Blue Jays because there's some fire building between these two teams. Something's going to break out eventually between them.
Yeah,
well, it can only be a rivalry if they get within 11 games. So I'm not overly fussed about the Blue Jays at the moment. But hey, just wait till we actually play a good team, guys. We've not played any good teams yet. I mean, our 49-17 is completely overinflated. We've not played any good teams yet, right? That's the narrative that I've been hearing, right?
No, that is the narrative, and it's a stupid narrative. It really is. Because it kept saying, wait until this week of run, with Tampa, Toronto, then back to Tampa, then Houston. We're going to see what the Yankees really are made of. Well, this is what they're made of. We swept Tampa. We won the series against Toronto. Even the game we lost yesterday, like Rob pointed out, we still they had to. It wasn't like they ran away with the game after they came back. It was Yankees was still within very well in striking distance of making it a more interesting ninth inning. So
Boston fans are hilarious because it started off, oh, you guys are a fourth place team, right? And then we started winning like every game, and then they're like, oh no, just wait till you play a good team, right? Now we've played all these good teams and we're still 30 games above 500, right? And they're like, oh no, it only counts October. So which narrative is it that you guys want to stick to try and get us? You know what I mean? You're running out of narratives here. So I just find it comical, really. I mean, I know it's a little bit of fan base banner back and forth, but I was surprised at the Jays' reaction. They've won 2 out of the last 6 games against the Yankees, and each of those 2 games are like, come on, guys, just calm down a little bit here. You lost the series twice in a row. Just calm down, calm down. You're in a different league than us. That's okay. You know what I mean? So, listen, I'm not fussed. Listen, when the way that our bullpen has transpired, Chapman is out of the question because he's terrible and now and hurt and all this stuff, but he's terrible anyway. You can't rely on him, right? Then you look at Loaizaga, he's been hurt and all that stuff, but he's been really bad as well this year, right? And then you would think that with our closer and our setup man of last year struggling as much as they have, then our bullpen would be an issue. No, we've got the second best bullpen in the American League. So we're relying on guys that we would never, ever imagine that we'd have to rely on. I mean, if you told us that we would need a Castro and a Peralta and a Marinaccio to play significant innings, I would be like, oh. But no, it's not been the case. I mean, listen, Castro is not a particularly good pitcher. He's never been a particularly good pitcher, and this is what you're seeing from him now. Peralta is what he is. He's okay, not much more than that. But Marinaccio has been a very big positive since coming back, being called back up from AAA. He's been a hell of a lot better, and he's eaten in some really big innings for us, and it's been fine. So listen, these kind of innings are going to happen, especially when it's not really our number one bullpen. We're going to need a lot from Holmes, and that's just what we're going to have to rely on. He's going to have to really carry this bullpen. At least until the trade deadline when we can maybe get some more help. I'm not overly surprised that one game are kind of guys that you don't really want to be pitching blew a game. It happens, but I would say the overwhelming positive is that the offense has been great. We're even getting some over the course of the series. We got some hits from Gallo. We got some hits from Hicks. Holy crap. How did that happen? Pigs are flying. Unbelievable. And so there's that. And then, you're scoring 9-10 runs. We scored 18 against the Cubs. So we're scoring runs. We're hitting 4 or 5 home runs a game. A lot of games. So, we scored 9 runs against the Jays 9 times out of 10. That's more than enough to win a game. Just didn't happen this occasion. All you have to do is you just use the Aaron Boone terminology, turn the page. Because on this occasion, he's right. Turn the page because there's nothing to worry about. It just happens. This is just what baseball is, man. But really positive series. We took it, and our lead in the American League East is pretty significant at the moment. Going into late June, so we're in really good shape. And, we've still got the trade deadline to come on. I'm pretty sure the Yankees will be active because they now know that this is a team that can do serious damage in October. We don't have to worry about the starting rotation. Going into this year, I was worried about the rotation. Rotation's been great. Severino, listen, he's not pitched in a long time with the COVID concerns and things like that. Maybe he was a little bit out of rhythm. 4 walks in 5 innings is not normal for him. I won't be concerned about that. Over the piece, our 5 guys have been great. And so maybe one bullpen arm and probably an outfielder. The trade deadline in this Yankee team will be ready to rock and roll in October. I'm pretty confident of that.
Yeah, see, that's how I took a look at the pitching was, Severino missed his start because of, having to get the COVID testing. So he was out of his rhythm. Castro, we've been saying just, he was effective, but he just didn't seem he wasn't portraying himself as a reliable arm. He was getting through some shaky innings. Peralta hasn't been a problem out of the bullpen. So if this was when he was gonna have his bad game, then it is what it is. So I don't really I don't want to beat up on the pitching too bad. The offense did everything they could, like they've been doing, to make sure that these, everybody's got each other's back. All right, guys, you didn't have your best in the pitching. We're just going to try to outslug them then. If their pitchers are shutting us down, our pitchers are going, okay, we're just going to match them 0-0 in the innings. So, they've been trying to balance each other out. It just didn't work yesterday. It happens. It's baseball. You pack your bag, you move on to the next series.
Let's just be thankful that we're in this position, because if this happened to us last year, the sky was falling,
Yeah.
So the fact that we can say this in June, we still got an 11-game lead in the division. It's no big deal. We'll be fine. We got to be thanking our lucky stars right now. And about the bullpen, again, I'm not concerned about it because we still have Loizaga on the comeback. And if he's healthy and if he figures it out and gets back to something close to what he was last year, that's like a deadline upgrade. And we know Cashman loves using returning injured players as upgrades. Chapman is irrelevant to me, even if he does come back good, fine, whatever. We can't forget, as much as I don't want him around the team, Domingo Germán is on the comeback trail. He can be a bullpen weapon because he ain't starting. And now that the rotation is back in full, Clark Schmidt, who probably wasn't available yesterday because he pitched 3 innings against Tampa, he's going to be out of the bullpen again. So things are going to start to shape out, and they can still afford to get an arm or two maybe just to be sure. Because come October, you're going to know who you're going to in a situation. If you get 5 or 6 from the starter, you're not going to see Castro pitch the 7th. You probably won't even see Peralta. You know where you're going in October to win you a game. So I'm not too concerned about the way it worked out. But you mentioned Gallo and Hicks. Gallo came through. Aaron Hicks has been having a really good month, and he had a good month in April, and he had that atrocious month of May, which has derailed all of his stats. He still can't hit worth a damn in terms of runners in scoring position or power in general, but he's been a lot better. Still don't think he should be starting every day, but 4th outfielder, it's not the worst situation in the world. I would love Benintendi or Happ on this team. I think if you put LeMahieu back in the 5 spot, he's been struggling at a leadoff spot lately, and they put him in the 5 hole the other day, and he started lighting up again. So I don't know. I'm thinking if you put Benintendi at the top of this order with Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, LeMahieu to follow him, and with Torres being red hot, that's almost an impossible top 6, 7 to navigate. And then at the bottom, Trevino's hitting, IKF's been hitting, and Gallo in the 9 hole has been really good. So that right there looks like a pretty damn good lineup. We still need an outfielder, and there are 2 on the market, or should be on the market, that could be had for not too significant of a prospect haul. So
true.
Cubs could be our best trade partner because they have bullpen arms and they have an outfielder, and we need both of those things right now.
I think the reason why we didn't win yesterday was because Rizzo didn't play. No, I'm not laughing. I see that. I mean that seriously. He is so clutch. He's absolutely blasting the ball. He's having a really good last couple of weeks in terms of his power numbers and skyrocketing up, grand slams and all kinds of stuff. He's been terrific. I'm not worried about his batting average because the only thing that really matters is his power numbers. His power numbers have been right there.
Isn't yesterday the more ideal day to give him that day off his feet? For as much of the game as you can be. You already had the series in hand. I know Boone's been very good with not looking too far ahead, and taking each game one at a time. So maybe that it was we had already won the series against Toronto. Let me get him off his feet for one more. Let me get him off his feet for the day before traveling to Tampa.
Well, listen, I don't agree with this premise that guys need days off just randomly, especially when he's been struggling for so long.
I don't like it either. But that's just the new baseball.
Let me finish my point. But now that he's coming around, and now he's got his stroke back, and he's starting to, dominate the baseball, that he's immediately sitting. I don't agree with that narrative. I never have, and I never will. It's just that's a different philosophy than I believe in. Aaron Boone sticks with it, and that's his prerogative, and that's fine. I mean, listen, there's no evidence to say that his not working because we're hitting the crap out of the ball. But it didn't work last year, and it didn't work the year before that. So over the piece, I still like my main guys to be playing, especially in division matchups. If it's Baltimore, okay. But when it's Toronto, your number 2 rival, even if they're a million games back, joking, 11 games back, I'd still have my strongest lineup, and then you maybe rest guys in less high leverage games, but that's just my opinion. We still scored 9 runs, so it's not a massive deal. But I'm not a big fan of resting guys, especially Rizzo is not the type that gets hurt. Knock on wood. He's a guy that plays every day, so I would have played him. I would have played him yesterday, and I'm pretty sure he would have won the game. But that's just me.
No, I don't think I don't think you're wrong, because I don't like the rest days. When I grew up watching baseball, it was the same lineup every day. Maybe you never saw, unless they requested a day off, they never sat. The Ripken Juniors are gone. You're not going to see that anymore. The closest we have to that in baseball is Merrifield. So the off days are going to happen. And I'd rather, if they're going to give people, players a rest day, I think you have to be really strategic about it. And I think sitting Rizzo yesterday was a strategic move. He was available off the bench. He came off the bench. He's the one that almost brought us back from the dead, brought us back from the deficit. So, it almost worked. But yeah, there is, it's a legitimate statement that you made that if Rizzo was in the starting lineup, maybe we do win that game.
We scored 8 runs though.
Yeah.
So would he have done much more? Would he have hit another grand slam? I don't know. That's a lot to ask of somebody. If obviously if the pitching just got another out, we win the game. So it wouldn't have mattered if Rizzo sat. So, we scored 8 runs. That's usually good enough. We were up 8-3. Should have won the game with or without Rizzo. It wasn't a big deal that he sat to me, but I do get the point that when you're hot, you should be playing every single day. So I don't like the fact that they're sitting him after he had that, he was hitting the crap out of the ball, as you put it, because he had a really bad May, and it didn't matter because once the calendar turned, he was hitting again. His average is down. Don't care. Do not care about the batting averages. On base is up. His slugging is up. OPS, everything is up. He's on pace for a 40 home run, 100 RBI season.
Whoa.
Right in the middle of Judge and Stanton, who Judge is on pace for 60. Stanton's on pace for 35, 40. So, you're having just a tremendous power in the middle of your order, 2, 3, 4, from 2 to 4. That's tremendous power. That's a lot of pop. And Stanton hasn't even gotten hot yet since coming back to the IL. So I think he's going to come up big this series against Tampa. But yeah, if Rizzo played yesterday, will we have won? Who knows? But I do think that he should have played because he's hot. So I don't mind him getting the day off, but I also think that you should play your hot players until they cool off a little bit. And I also don't think it made sense to pinch hit with Trevino for Gallo, because you really thinned out your bench, and God forbid something happened to Trevino. You didn't have a catcher. I know Gallo doesn't hit lefties very well, but Trevino, all he did was just draw a walk. Gallo drew 2 in the game. He could have done the same thing. I don't know. There was some interesting moves made, like going to Castro before Peralta was interesting. And then the pinch hit move was kind of weird because Gallo's hitting, right? But now they're still losing trust in him because they're pinch hitting for him late in the games. I don't know what they want to do with Gallo. It's so weird. We know why they pinch hit for him, because he's not going to hit the lefty, but it's he's finally starting to hit again, and then you're still pinch hitting him. I don't know. It's weird. I think they're going to pray he keeps hitting, and they're probably going to try to move him.
You're also starting to see those longer at bats from Gallo too. He's really seeing the ball a little better. Even Hicks, Hicks is starting to not chase as much as he was, when he was just abominable. So Yeah, I think that was a really strange move. Yeah, but I mean, Trevino has been very clutch in the late innings. So that was when they brought in Trevino, I was like, okay. To me, it made a little bit of sense.
Yeah, it was just an off day for Boone, I think.
Like I said, we put up the runs. We still maintained a solid lead in the division. We won the series, and we just look at it's almost like we're nitpicking to complain, just because we can't just come on here every day acting like everything is just rainbows and sunshine. We got to be a little critical.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, I can only count about maybe 2 games that Aaron Boone has maybe struggled in the top of my head. He's managed pretty flawlessly apart from that. I would say this is maybe his 3rd game. It's just I'd rather him get them all out of the way now rather than later in the year. Maybe a case of over-managing. Don't really need to do that much. And next time, just I probably wouldn't have made those moves which he made yesterday. But yeah, I'd rather him get that out of the way in June rather than the high leverage games in the dog days in September and October. So yeah, no, I think it was over the piece a really great weekend. What about Tyon? Tyon was great.
Continues to be great. He had a couple of starts, but didn't even phase him because against probably the best lineup. He was okay in his last start. The one before that against Minnesota was blah. Yeah, but the day before, he shut them down. And that against Toronto, because again, we saw what they can do. Clearly, they have the ability to put up double digits at any given moment. They put up 7 in 2 freaking innings against us. So the fact that Tyon shut them down and our pitching was so good the first 2 games, you almost knew they were bound to break out. It's going to be tough to sweep a team like that because they're still good. If we weren't as good as we were, they'd be right behind us in the division. If the Yankees weren't on these crazy winning streaks every other week, they'd be 4 or 5 games back of us. So they're still a very good team.
Yeah, so I think this was our 2nd loss in 20 games.
It is. It's wild. Wild. I think this is even better trajectory we're on than even the 98 team. I think we're
I think the projection was at the pace we're on for 122 wins.
That's absolutely incredible.
I'm like, wait, which is so bizarre.
I know, because I was not that high in this team starting into this year. I was quite worried. I was
none of us were
2nd or 3rd place, maybe, but this team is it's awesome. Really awesome. The chemistry is true.
I predicted 97 wins, Bobby Tats. Don't put me in there with you 2 negative Nancys. I was very positive.
No, you were the higher of us. I figured low 90s. Just the wild card. But really, who thought? Except for Rob, because he's the smart one of the group. He was the only one that saw the potential in these players.
We all saw the potential.
No,
come on, don't sell yourself. Don't sell Donald short.
No.
It's just that there was a lot to be questioned, though. But when you said if everything went right, so far it is.
Yeah.
They had a chance to win a lot of games because on paper, this is a very good roster. A lot had to go right so far, knock on wood, through the first 3 months. Everything has gone right.
Not everything, because Chad Green's hurt. Loizaga has been poor. Chapman's been poor. So the fact that we've overcome these, pretty important arms in the bullpen and still have one of the best bullpens in the American League means that there's actually more of a testament that this Yankee team is for real, because it's not all been sunshine and rainbows. We've had to overcome a bunch of things. Aaron Hicks and Gallo are having 2 of the worst years in the American League in terms of the amount of games they've been playing. Their numbers are rock bottom. So the fact that we've overcome that as well. And, our starting catcher was Higashioka going into this year, and he's been terrible apart from this past week or so. And we've overcome that as well. the Aaron Judge problem. We were worried about how Aaron Judge would react after the contract stuff and the kind of making his contract public. I was concerned how that would affect maybe the initial first few weeks of the season. Aaron Judge is having one of the best seasons I've ever seen at this stage. So it's not all been sunshine and rainbows, but the fact that this Yankee team have come together, they've galvanized amazing team chemistry. And they're just the trajectory is through the roof is a testament to how strong this team is, because not everything's been going great, but they've overcome a bunch of things already. We've already had Stanton on the DL, not a problem. We won anyway. You know, we've had important guys go on the DL, not a problem. We win anyway. So it's been really good. We've had a resurgent year from Gleyber Torres. That's been really important. And Aaron Judge is having the greatest years I've ever seen, so that certainly helps. He's anchored the team. But you know, the one move that's really worked going into this year was Trevino, who's having a semi All-Star year, and re-signing Rizzo. Those two moves have really been the key, in my opinion. And it's maybe been the non-moves which has actually worked. The fact that they didn't add another starting rotation, an arm for the starting rotation, and kept the rotation as is, has worked. And it's worked better than any arm we could have brought in. They've been incredible. I mean, you could make a legit case that all five of them could make the All-Star team, or at least four for sure. So there's a lot to be really positive about. But that's my only thing. I would actually say that it's not been all sunshine and rainbows at all. But the fact that this team has overcome a bunch of things already and is the best team in baseball by a good distance is a testament to how good this team is, and well constituted by Boone and Cashman.
Who thought we'd be saying that? Again, I still scratch my head at that Twins trade, because I still don't think Donaldson's giving you the production that it could be for the money he's making. But yesterday he came up with a big hit, so you know that he's capable, and you're kind of just waiting for him to break out with the power. Because I don't care if he hits 240. I just want him to start hitting for power again, because he's not doing that. When he starts, if he starts, maybe in the second half of the year, there's another threat in the lineup that you have to navigate through. Gleyber Torres is seeing the ball probably better than I've ever seen him see the ball since he came up. Like, he's locked in right now. The average is up, the on base is up, the power is back. He's going the other way, launch angle, everything. He's playing with confidence at second. He's chucking it up with everybody. He's having a good time. And yesterday, if you watch the game, when Gleyber hit the home run, or was it right? It might have been right before. Everybody's standing up in the dugout, kind of like just looking at Kikuchi, like, what's he throwing next? Let's study him. And they started tearing the cover off the ball, and they put up the 8 runs. It's like, you didn't see that last year.
No.
A guy hit a home run, everyone just kind of sits down like, oh, what'd you see? Okay, cool. But then you see Gleyber talking to Judge. What did he throw you? And he's like, they're coaching each other. They're looking at the iPad.
They're all studying the iPad. Yeah.
Everyone's studying. And I'm like, it's a different – you didn't see that last year. Everything was just kind of like, go swing for the fences. Now we're scoring in different ways. Whether it's a home run, Judge hits the double yesterday. It could be anybody in any given way that's bringing in runs. And again, like Donald said, 9 times out of 10, you score 9 runs in a game, you're winning with this pitching staff. Just yesterday we didn't go to our top guys. If King and Holmes were ready to pitch for 3 innings, we would have won the game. And normally you wouldn't need them with a 5-run lead. You expect Castro to be able to get you 3 outs, and then Peralta, and you could have went to Marinaccio to try to close it. But Blue Jays still have a good offense. They came back. It's not the end of the world. They closed the gap from 12 to 11. Let's just try to forget it and go beat Tampa again. If we can take another 2 out of 3 against Tampa, there should be no more questions about who's the best team in this division.
Yep.
Or at least for the first half. Still a lot of baseball left, but we're playing some damn good baseball right now. And even with those problems we've had to overcome, the Donaldson issue, I don't even think he's served his suspension yet. It's only 1 game, but I don't think he served it yet. Yeah. The players that we lost to COVID, we've had to start J.P. Sears for a game, and he was fine. Ryan Weber came out of the bullpen last week and gave us 2 1/3 inning, really good ball. Like, who the hell's Ryan Weber? Who are these guys? And everyone's just doesn't matter who they call up, people are contributing. And now lately, guys that were terrible are starting to contribute. So it's just like any given day. I mean, Hicks was the hero the other day. If we don't get the hit against Manoah, who knows if we win this series? So even Aaron Hicks, who came up big against the Twins with Gallo, came up the other day against Toronto. So it's like everyone's contributing, and it's fun to see. And one loss is not going to derail the season because you know the bullpen's not going to shape out that way at the end of most games.
Weber's Yankee career was like that Simpsons gif, where Homer's dad walks in the door, an empty door, then just walks right out again. That's Weber's career. Then turn around, out. That was Weber's career as a Yankee.
The poor kid got DFA'd right after.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but he was fine for those 4 innings that he pitched. He was absolutely fine. So it just shows, man. Everyone's contributing. Everyone has contributed in some way, shape, or form for this Yankee team. It's supposed to be truly amazing. Like every day somebody else has stepped up. Somebody else is doing something special. Even in losing efforts, you're seeing something special happening on a daily basis from somebody from this lineup that you would normally expect. Or it's not all been Aaron Judge. It's not all been Rizzo and Stanton. There's been a whole bunch of guys. So that's what's been really incredible about this team.
Yeah, no, it's been incredible. There's really nothing to complain about. Here we are, we're struggling to find something to critique about the team, and even our critiques are being critiqued because we're over critiquing. So, but that's just the fun of the season, and that's what's making the season so that much more special. We could joke around about a loss, and find the fun that was still had within the game. So that's a big testament to this team, that we're not, the sky isn't falling, just because we weren't able to close the series out. But tonight starts a new series with Cole on the mound against the Rays and McClanahan. And so we'll be breaking that on the next episode. Remember, also, check out yesterday's episode of The Upper Deck with Deb Seymour from Ball 9. Phenomenal discussion that they had with the comparisons between this year and 98. And they really just nailed it. And it was really a phenomenal listen. So I don't want to spoil it for you, but just give it a listen and give us a listen as well. You can also hear us on sportnam.com/player, Northeast Streaming Sports on Roku. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. We will see you next time. Wear your pinstripes with pride and play hard.